Okay, this isn't a mail time, but I want to open up this box, and I'm quite excited about it because I finally managed to both save and find the Zhuan Crane 3S Pro, which is going to be most specifically used for my Sony FS7 Mark I. So, let's open this box up. With all the extra work I've been doing lately, I was able to save up a bit of money to buy this second hand. Let's go over these extra bits. Now, this is the camera mount. We got a nice little extendo arm thing. This kit comes with 3 of these, so this is a really decent amount of length I can add to whatever this is for. This battery charger, which looks like it's for some 18650 batteries, USB. This looks like it will be a follow focus motor. It is indeed. In fact, there are 2 motors here in this little box, allowing me to have basically any lens I like attached to this kit. And thankfully it's also got some things to go around the rings of the lens so that just to make sure compatibility is there. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I need to open this box. It actually says on here that this is the external battery pack. This is the image transmission transmitter. So I'll be able to plug HDMI into it, and I'm guessing through the app be able to see the feed live from the camera, which may also be able to introduce a couple of the extra features like tracking, person tracking, so that it keeps them center of frame. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all the little bits and pieces here. Look how thick that is. This must be the battery. All these parts feel nice, thick, premium, and solid. Like nothing here feels cheap at all. Oh yeah, so there's the 18650s. They're probably going to need a charge. I think one of the harder parts of this is just going to be figuring out where everything goes every time. I don't think this is going to be a kit that I will leave packed up all the time. I think it's sort of a kit that I'll have set up and I'll just more or less leave my camera on it. So hopefully I will be showing off this kit all set up with my FS7 on it and working. Now, that may be in this video or it may be in a future video. I'm not really dedicating a ton of time to it because it's also a camera I never really use. So, mail time. Now, searching on the internet, you can find a lot of things, like a head, specifically a styrofoam head. This is for my Halloween project I'm working on. You may have seen in the last video, I was pulling apart pallets for wood. Also let you know how many days left until Halloween. So I've gotten the styrofoam head. I'm going to have to cut it at about the neck so that it will fit for purpose. Maybe trim it that way sort of as well. I want it to be a person sitting on a chair. Leather belt, leather belt, leather belt, leather belt. That's right, 4 leather belts. Have you figured out what I'm making yet? I've also got some reasonably thin strapped leather, all of it brown. And this one was kind of dodgy. This altered my algorithm in a way I would prefer it didn't. Let me show you why. Now don't worry, it's only got the one hole in the back to blow it up. There are no other holes. This isn't one of those dodgy dolls. This is specifically, this is what you see when you click into it. Is specifically for Halloween. This will be put in a rubbish bag to look like a dead body, and it will even probably be hung upside down, and I may have some fake blood dripping from it. Alright, let's finally have a little look at this skateboard motor. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. Bearings in the wheel are okay. A couple of these screws, well, one of them I ruined. The other seemed to already be ruined, probably from it overheating and expanding and contracting. It's just slowly getting harder and harder to turn this motor, and it seems to be smoking rather quickly when I've got it running for a few seconds. Here we go. Got some smoke coming out of it now. Anyway, there's no recovering this motor. I'm gonna have to order a new one. One motor is $220. What? It's a third of the price I paid for this whole thing. Admittedly, brand new, it's like $2,000, so that's not that much, but man, that feels like a lot. Alright, we've got 67 days until Halloween. I think I alluded to something of why I got these pellets and turned them into wood in the last video, but let me completely elaborate on that by taking a measurement. Alright, so what I'm doing is I'm going to make a chair out of this wood. Now, I do have a specific kind of chair I'm thinking of. So I think a good starting position is going to get 4 of these and mark out the measurements that I'm making on here. Actually, I'd probably get this one and cut it there. That's about the halfway point, isn't it? I think I'm about a quarter of the way. This isn't the right tool for the job. I'm putting way too much effort into that. It should be cut by now. I've seen people cut wood before with the proper wood saw. They cut through way faster than that. So much easier. Well, the Osmo's drunk now, and I split the wood because I just went gun-ho. This might be the end of the video for now.
Surprisingly, I was able to push on with the DJI Osmo. As long as I keep it on a very specific angle, it seems to be working fine, allowing me to film this whole process of me building a chair for the very first time. I didn't do too well in carpentry in school. I was able to accomplish the simple builds we were given, but it's not a subject that I further pursued. I moved over to electronics and computers because that was where my interest lies. But it looks like making it up as I go didn't turn out too badly. I'm able to build a chair that looks like a chair. Alright, so this is pretty much the chair. I've left some gaps in here so that I can, well, I've got to run cables, set up some motors, maybe some servos. Not 100% sure where and what or how. Mail time. Now this package has shown up with a hole in it, so I'm guessing something must be missing. What is this? Oh, got a couple more of these little temperature humidity sensors as seen in many of the previous videos. Then I've got a scene switcher, which is the 4 buttons. Allow you to push these buttons to select different scenes. So this will be set up with my Home Assistant server, of course, with the other wireless temperature and humidity sensors. And then I've also got this wireless charger so that my phone can sit on a reasonably comfortable angle so that I can visually see it sitting there and see what's on the screen. Is a very light feeling package. Oh, a smart light, of course. Frygate, the main NVR system running here at my house, has released an update. It is now running on Frygate 0.16. That was released about a week ago, though beta testers have been playing with the new features for a good few months now. But the main thing that has been released in this update is facial recognition. Though it can be a tricky situation with this kind of camera that I kind of just installed as a slight upgrade to the old one. You see, it has 2 video stream outputs at 2 different resolutions. This resolution isn't quite enough. You're not really getting a lot of the details in the face. Now the high resolution stream is probably perfect for it. Look at the information you've got there. You can figure out exactly who that person is. But the problem there is it's such a high resolution that a Raspberry Pi just can't handle more than 1 camera at a time. And even at that point, it's only going to be running at about 6 frames per second. That's nowhere near fluid enough for me to be satisfied with that. But I thought it was still worth checking out, so I got that setting all programmed up and set correctly and started trying to identify my face. I did find that it wasn't really that reliable and I had to be a lot closer than anyone naturally would be to this camera, but it was still fun to see that it is in a working state. Last night I came out hunting for an ESP32, but I found that I seem to be overstocked in ESP82661 minis instead. So I wasn't able to do that. But I can program an ESP8266. I just have to limit what exactly I'm programming it to do until I get an ESP32 in the mail. In the meantime, I program and solder up some connections to the ESP82661 Mini so that I can connect some servos to it and do some initial testing. I can set a maximum value so that it will only go between our smallest and maximum value. And this is going to help when I finally come up with the programming and settings for the servos that I'm going to install into this chair. I'm going to have one in each hand so that the hands can move up and down like that and jiggle around a little bit. And then I'm probably going to use that 40 kg one down in the middle here, which will help jiggle the legs a little bit. And of course, people have mouths. So I've got to make that polystyrene mouth be able to flap its jaw. So I was just wandering around the local hardware store and I ended up buying these. Now that I've got them, I think I'm going to make the shoulders. So these will be shoulder joints. Luckily, I found a bit of PVC pipe that was just about the same width as my shoulders. So next I need to line up another PVC pipe which will be about the length of my back and see where the shoulders will sit on it. I temporarily attached the head to the pole and had a look around about where it would be sitting. Then, deciding where the shoulders would be, I just taped them in place. I was incredibly lucky. After posting the video of my motor smoking up like that, someone managed to get in contact with me and offered one of their old motors just for the price of shipping. So, doubling the price of shipping, I sent the money through to that legend and it showed up within about 5 days on the cheapest posting. And I'm so glad to be back on my skateboard. To wrap this video up, again, I was travelling up north and stayed at a hotel by the beach, where of course it was a nice view that time, with calm waters nearby. Back home, I got back to work on the chair, adding an extra support brace underneath for a motor that will be being attached, as well as a couple little bits of wood to hide the servos. Then I move on to sanding the chair down, as much as I could really be bothered, and then I used some cheap coffee I stole from the hotel I was at and put it in a Roundup container to spray all over it. Though, unfortunately, it hasn't really changed how the wood looks. I was hoping it would stain it at least a couple shades darker.